Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining us for the second part of our story. Let's jump right back in. One police officer pulls me aside, starts asking a few routine questions. Where were you? Who were you with? Why was your front door left wide open? Sam leaned forward. And then he says, I mimicked in a gruff cop voice. We've got a guy in custody. He ran out of your house this morning. Looked like a butcher shop exploded on him. Do you know him? I took a deep breath and stared into my glass as if it held profound moral clarity. And I replied, No, never seen him before in my life. Sam blinked. Just like that. Just like that, I confirmed. I maintained a perfectly straight face. Grieving husband. Confused. Shocked. A tragic figure. But deep down, I knew exactly who he was. And more importantly, exactly what had transpired. He looked as if he wanted to ask, but hesitated. So I obliged. You're probably wondering what actually happened, right? I said with a smirk, how everything just fell into place like some grim fairy tale. He nodded slowly. Well, I said, lowering my voice, I have a friend. Let's just say his line of work doesn't involve business cards or operating in broad daylight. Sam looked vaguely apprehensive about asking for specifics. When I uncovered the affair, I continued. I contacted him, provided him with all the details. He's incredibly professional, very meticulous. Never makes mistakes. We devised a plan. I tapped the bar twice with my fingers, as if it were all part of a grand blueprint. We knew there'd be wine. My wife had a particular fondness for it, especially the bottles I was saving for non-cheating occasions. So we made sure the wine bottle would be swapped. Spiked. Sam swallowed hard. So once they were incapacitated, I said. Once the wine took effect, my friend and his crew slipped in, removed my wife from the scene, and staged it to look like her affair partner had completely lost control. Wine, blood, chaos, the whole 9 yards. The scene itself told a clear story. One that concluded with a panicked man in blood-stained boxers running straight into his own downfall. Sam was staring at me as if I just informed him I invented vengeance. And the best part? I added. They completely wiped the surveillance. No recordings, no cameras, just one very convenient tragedy, and one very confused suspect. He leaned back slowly, glass in hand, blinking. Jesus, he muttered. Nah, I said, smirking. He wouldn't have the stomach for it. This required careful planning and a little residual shadow energy. Then I raised my glass, dead serious. To being underestimated, my friend. It's the quiet ones you truly need to watch out for. Sam clinked his glass without a word. He was learning. After a lengthy silence where Sam just sat there, looking like he was trying to mentally erase everything I just shared, I leaned in and asked calmly, So, what do you intend to do, Sam? Do you want to burn everything down? Eliminate your wife and the neighbor? Or are you aiming for something that involves less jail time? He quickly shook his head. No, I don't want to kill anyone. I mean, I despise them, don't misunderstand me. But I'm not looking to go to prison or become a news headline. I nodded, approvingly. Smart. Headlines are overrated anyway. Half the time, they even get your mugshot angle wrong. He sighed. I want revenge. Real revenge. The kind that truly sticks with them. I smirked and set my glass down. Well, my friend, I said, stretching slightly as if about to conduct a masterclass in Emotional Vengeance 101. Now we're talking, because if there's one thing I truly excel at, besides drinking and making poor relationship decisions, it's revenge. He leaned in, captivated, vulnerable, desperate. A beautiful canvas of chaos. I continued, my voice low but deliberate. Listen, there are 100 ways to exact vengeance for betrayal. Some are slow, some are messy. Some even involve goats and highly questionable Craigslist ads. But for you, you need the quick route. Sam frowned. Quick? I thought you said this kind of thing takes time. Oh, it absolutely does, I said, grinning. But that doesn't mean the impact has to be slow. Sometimes you just need the right spark in the right dumpster. He raised an eyebrow, confused but too emotionally shattered to argue. So here's what you do, I explained, tapping the bar like I was laying out a blueprint. You set them both up, the affair partner and your wife. You don't attack them directly. You make the world suspicious of them. Sam leaned in closer. How? I chuckled. Easy. You, or preferably someone not you, starts making anonymous phone calls. Reports of suspicious activity. Sketchy individuals coming and going. Strange noises at odd hours. You know, the typical this guy's up to no good narrative. Sam looked intrigued. To where? The police. Exactly, I said, nodding. Over the next 3 weeks, boom, multiple calls. Different voices, different times, but all focused on your dear neighbor. Bonus points if he's already disliked by people, especially the neighborhood husbands. They'll start adding their own stories for free. He laughed under his breath. They do kind of hate him already. Perfect. I grinned. Now he's squarely on the police radar. Constant visits. Little warnings. Harmless on paper, but annoying enough to completely disrupt his week and begin building a reputation. Sam whistled softly. That's actually somewhat brilliant. I shrugged modestly. I know. It's part of my charm. Legal? Debatable. Satisfying? Oh, absolutely. Then I gave him a look. You want the slow, soul-crushing kind of revenge where they suffer in silent paranoia? Buddy, you've come to the right washed-up bar philosopher. He raised his glass to mine. To ruining reputations. I clinked it and smirked. To creative character assassination, the peaceful man's war. Sam was now listening as if I were reciting the lost scrolls of divine revenge. His eyes wide, mouth slightly agape, and a little bit of that pathetic heartbroken puppy look replaced by something far more productive. Petty rage. I patted him on the shoulder. All right, now that we've got the ball rolling with Officer Friendly making casual visits to your wife's boy toy, let's escalate things a bit, shall we? He gave me a wary look. What do you mean? I said, lowering my voice as if about to confess to running an underground crime syndicate. We're going to legally-ish ruin their lives. Sam shifted. Legally-ish. Relax, I said, waving him off. It's all about exploiting the loopholes in the system. Now listen carefully. I got a guy, let's call him Kevin. That's not his actual name, obviously. His real name sounds like something you'd whisper in a dark alley. Kevin excels at acquiring certain items, specifically things that law enforcement strongly discourages. Sam's eyes widened. Wait, you mean drugs? Let's not announce it too loudly, I muttered. Let's just refer to them as career ruiners in powder form. He swallowed hard. I have Kevin deliver a lovely little stash to our dear neighbor's property, or somewhere that can be easily found by the police, I continued. Tucked neatly in a spot the cops will definitely check the next time they show up because of... Oh, look at that! Yet another anonymous tip. Sam slowly shook his head, stunned. You are truly terrifying. Thank you, I said proudly. But we're not finished. Now we address her. Sam looked at me, dead serious. You mean my wife? Oh yes, I said. The woman who decided to host adultery matinees while you were at work like a gullible fool. So here's what I did next. I had another friend of mine. Let's call her Sarah. Also not her real name. Her actual name is more suitable for someone with burner phones and no moral compass. She made a call to DHS. Sam stiffened. Wait, Child Protective Services? Yep, I said casually. She reported that the kids had been left unsupervised multiple times while you, the diligent husband, were at your job, breaking your back to pay for a house that was simultaneously serving as a brothel. Sam winced. Oh, and Sarah didn't stop there, I added. She also expressed a slight concern about potential signs of neglect, maybe even abuse. His jaw dropped. But that's not true. She would never harm them. I raised a finger. No one claimed she did, but the allegation is what truly matters. DHS isn't in the business of fact-checking over coffee. You get flagged, you get visited. Suddenly, the stay-at-home mom starts sweating bullets. She's the primary caregiver. And you? You're the one with the stable employment, a pristine reputation, and best of all, you're the guy who mows your elderly neighbor's lawn without being asked. He blinked. I do that. Exactly, I exclaimed, pointing. You're the upstanding citizen, the responsible parent. Meanwhile, she's at home dealing with visits from caseworkers and attempting to conceal wine bottles. Who do you think they're going to believe when it comes time to discuss custody? He sat back, blinking as if he'd just seen a ghost and realized the ghost possessed excellent strategic skills. And the best part? I added, grinning. You haven't lifted a single finger. You've simply remained quiet, smiled, and played the part of the hurt but dignified father. That, Sam, is how you truly win. Not with fists, not with fire, but with paperwork, suspicion, and a very cooperative Kevin. He just nodded, slowly processing every detail. Still sure you don't want to kill anyone? I asked casually. He hesitated. Then, no, but I definitely want to watch them utterly crumble. I raised my glass again. To psychological warfare, the thinking man's chainsaw. I watched Sam down the rest of his drink as if he were trying to swallow not just the whiskey, but the entire moral collapse he'd just witnessed. I patted him on the back, gently and reassuringly, like a war buddy or a tax auditor. Now, I said, when the timing was perfect, and timing is absolutely everything in this business, I made one more small call. Sam stared. To the police? I nodded, smiling as if I were describing a delightful birthday surprise. Yep, a simple tip, a very concerned citizen routine. There's a car driving erratically in the neighborhood. Looks suspicious, might be drunk, possibly high. Please send someone before a toddler on a tricycle becomes roadkill. The usual neighborly panic. Sam frowned. Wait, and you mean the car? Oh yes, I interrupted, pleased with myself. The car belonged to the affair partner, that charming clown with the personality of a wet rag. But here's where it becomes deliciously convenient. Beforehand, I made certain Kevin's little care package found its way into the affair partner's vehicle. I tapped the bar twice for emphasis. Let's just say if the police looked anywhere near his glove box, they were going to discover enough felony sprinkles to make him an involuntary guest of the state. Sam just shook his head, somewhere between horrified and utterly amazed. How did you guarantee he'd be driving precisely at that moment? That's the art, Sam, I stated smugly. That's the symphony. You see, by then, I'd already rendered her car inoperable. His eyebrows shot up. What? Relax, I said, waving him off. Nothing dramatic, nothing explosive. Just a few strategically placed disconnections under the hood. Enough that she couldn't start the vehicle, but also wouldn't suspect she was being sabotaged. She'd just assume it was one of those random, ugh, my car hates me moments. Sam chuckled nervously. And guess who she was with when her car conveniently stopped functioning? I said, grinning. Our dear friend, the affair partner, already at his place, already comfortably lounging in betrayal. So of course, absolutely of course, he offered to drive her. Chivalry isn't truly dead. It just occasionally rides with contraband and delusion. I paused for effect. She needed someone to help her pick up the kids from school. And with her car out of commission, he was the obvious choice. Boom, he gets in the car. He's got her next to him, running late, flustered, probably already sweating just from existing. And then, I said, he drives directly into the trap. The police stop the car. They discover the stash. Kids are waiting at school. Wife is in the passenger seat. Bad optics, buddy. Truly awful optics. Especially for someone who's already on a first-name basis with half the police department thanks to 3 weeks of anonymous calls. Sam just exhaled, low and slow, as if he were realizing he'd brought a butter knife to a sniper fight. You're unhinged, he said, not unkindly. I'm systematic, I corrected him. There's a distinct difference. Unhinged people do things for amusement. I do them for proper closure. Then I grinned and drained the last of my drink. And the absolute best part? All perfectly legal, all clean. Just a trail of bad luck, unfortunate timing, and some profoundly suspicious coincidences. Sam raised his glass, shaking his head. To coincidences. I clinked it with mine. And to people foolish enough to believe they can cheat without facing consequences. So yes, after all our drinks, the late-night strategizing, and navigating enough moral gray areas to require both a priest and a lawyer, Sam and I headed back home. And we executed exactly what we had discussed. Every single step, every calculated maneuver. It was like orchestrating a heist, but without the ski masks or the dramatic soundtrack. We meticulously set the stage. We observed. We waited. And do you know what? It unfolded precisely as we had anticipated. Well, mostly. The sole minor snag, and I use that term generously like calling a heart attack a slight inconvenience, was the timing. You see, the police were supposed to apprehend them before they picked up the children. That was the original blueprint. That was the clean, child-free arrangement. But apparently Officer Clueless needed an extra donut or something, because by the time they decided to respond, the cheating caravan had already reached the school. So now the affair partner was driving with kids in the back seat, completely oblivious that the next 10 minutes of his life were about to plummet into a fiery abyss of regret. And as fate would have it, the car had a broken taillight and a missing license plate. Seriously, who drives around with a busted taillight and no tags when they're already drowning in police complaints and concealing felony sprinkles in their glove compartment? The affair partner, apparently that's who. So the police officer pulled him over. A routine stop, standard procedure, flashlight illuminating the window, a polite smile hinting at suspicion, and the affair partner radiating confidence, probably thinking, oh, this is nothing, I have children in the back, I'm invincible, I'm basically a family man, right? The officer ran his license, saw the history, the suspicious activity, the neighbor complaints, the fact that this guy had been flagged more times than a faulty toaster. And then came the pivotal moment. Mind if I search the vehicle? And our brilliant affair partner? He consented. Sam and I were observing this from a distance, and I swear to you, when that man nodded and said yes, I felt as though I had just secured an Oscar for Best Original Petty Plan. The officer searched the car, opened the glove box, peered under the seat. Boom, there it was. Illicit substances, completely illegal, unmistakably obvious, and certainly not meant to be in a vehicle, especially with children in the back seat munching on goldfish crackers. Sam turned to me and whispered, "Do you think he's realized it yet?" I replied, "The only thing he's going to realize is that orange jumpsuits don't complement midlife crises." The officer's demeanor shifted instantly. Backup was called. The expression on the affair partner's face? Pure Shakespearean tragedy, confusion, fear, the kind of look you make when you understand you're no longer the protagonist. And the wife, she was frozen in the passenger seat, watching her little fantasy crumble in real time while her children asked, "Mommy, why are the policemen taking your friend's car away?" I glanced at Sam, giving him a small, satisfied nod. "That, my friend," I stated, "is the sound of consequences knocking." He just stared straight ahead, quiet and smiling, for the first time since we met at the bar. I mean, it wasn't merely revenge. It was pure poetry, handcuffed, humiliated, and intoxicated by his own foolishness. So the officer opened the trunk, conducted a quick search, and boom, there it was. Enough illicit powder to not only ruin a weekend, but also earn a nice, shiny intent to distribute, sticker slapped across the police report. Add that to the fact that underage children were in the back seat. It was like handing the justice system a beautifully wrapped gift basket. Needless to say, they were both promptly arrested. Not questioned, not warned, arrested, cuffed, hauled in, the whole deal. I looked at Sam and said, "Congratulations. You've just initiated the nuclear option, and it suits you well." He didn't say much. He just stood there, half shocked, half satisfied, as if he couldn't quite believe it had actually succeeded. Meanwhile, I was ready to order a cake shaped like a middle finger. Now, with both Mom and Mr. Midlife Disaster in matching jumpsuits, the children were temporarily placed with DHS, as per protocol, and held until Sam could arrive and pick them up, which he did. Let me reiterate that for the record. Sam gained full custody of his children. I mean, the man appeared in court looking like a perfect role model from a brochure. Clean-shaven, responsible, a heartbroken but dignified father, and the court absolutely embraced it. His wife, on the other hand, well, let's just say her and the affair partner had vastly different outcomes in the courtroom. He was hit with the big one. Possession with intent to distribute, plus traffic violations, child endangerment, and enough additional charges to make his rap sheet resemble a CVS receipt. 5 years, they announced, might be out in 2 if he maintains good behavior, which, given his past judgment, isn't a strong probability. Personally, I hope his cellmate isn't fond of wine. And for her, 3 years of probation, a 90-day drug treatment program, 6 months of community service. You know, the kind where you wear the neon vest and collect trash on the side of the highway while drivers honk and shout, "Hey, cheater!" She also has to provide a urine sample for her probation officer once a month. Classy. Oh, and guess what else? Supervised visitation. That's right, the mommy of the year has to schedule appointments to see her own children with another person present in the room, ensuring she doesn't offer them wine or introduce them to her next affair partner. I looked at Sam the day he received the paperwork and said, "You know, when you first told me you didn't want to kill anyone, I was a little let down. But now, I believe we've discovered something far superior." He smiled, truly smiled, the first genuine smile since we met at the bar. "Thanks, Ethan," he said. I raised my glass. "Don't thank me yet," I told him. "Wait until she's holding a trash bag on the side of I-90 while her ex-boyfriend is doing push-ups in county. Cheers to karma with a slight manual adjustment." 2 weeks later, we were back at the same bar. Same stools, same dim lighting, same sticky floor. The bartender still poured drinks with the enthusiasm of a man who was already dead inside, and the jukebox hadn't been updated since 2004. Sam slid a thick envelope across the bar toward me like we were in a spy movie, except instead of government secrets, it contained revenge money and emotional closure. I raised an eyebrow. "What's this, a bribe? Or are you simply paying me to never utter another word?" He chuckled. $5,000, as I promised, for your assistance." I glanced at the envelope, then at him. "You know, I typically charge in bourbon and eternal gratitude, but this will certainly cover gas and the emotional trauma quite nicely." He clinked his glass against mine, and we sipped our wine like 2 middle-aged women celebrating a Pinterest triumph. Truly classy. "So," I inquired, "the divorce?" "Filed it this morning," he replied, satisfied. "My lawyer practically guaranteed I'll walk out with full custody and the house. She has absolutely nothing, no leverage, no car, no credibility. Her affair partner is in county jail pretending to be a yoga instructor, and she's too preoccupied collecting trash off highways to even contest it." I grinned. Now that's the kind of co-parenting arrangement therapists can only dream about. He laughed, a genuine, hearty laugh, and for the first time he looked like a man who had actually slept the previous night, as if he were no longer trying to mentally strangle someone with a pillow. As for me, well, I settled back, sipped my wine, and surveyed the bar. The same cracked booths, the same worn wood, the same individuals nursing heartbreak or simply seeking something to dull the ache. And I thought to myself, this is it. This is my true calling. Helping betrayed husbands find peace or revenge, sometimes both. It's not glamorous. There's no cape, no dedicated hotline. But if you're a guy whose wife cheated with the next-door gym rat, or that sleazy coworker who always wore cologne named Troy, and you don't want to end up weeping in a Target parking lot or setting your car on fire, I'm your guy. Revenge isn't just sweet, it's meticulously orderly when executed correctly. And I've made it my personal mission to assist husbands in finding their closure, one cheating affair partner at a time. I raised my glass again, watching Sam scroll through his phone, probably texting a babysitter like a truly responsible adult. And me? I'll still be right here at the bar waiting, because somewhere out there, another man's life is imploding, and I've got wine, surveillance equipment, and Kevin on speed dial. Life is truly good. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories like this. See you next time.